What's up, Fragrance Connoisseurs? We're back and we're getting into the fall season, so I wanted to do a fall fragrances video. I'm going to do a couple of them. This one is going to be the clone edition, inspiration edition, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to get into the top 10 must-have clone fragrances that I have in my collection. All of them are great. Some of them I like better than the original. Some of them I like just as well as the original. Some of them perform better. Some of them are just a little different, or an inspiration or a twist. I'm going to give you all of that information in my top 10 must-have fall clone video. So stay tuned for station identification as we get into the best fall fragrances that are clones or inspirations. All right, Fragrance Connoisseurs, we're back. So the first thing I wanted to do for everybody is to give my sincerest thanks and appreciation to all the love and support that I've been getting on YouTube. The channel has been getting on YouTube. We are definitely humbled by the number of subscribers and how we've grown in such a short period of time, especially given that we're not doing videos every day. However, I wanted to give thanks to everybody. We're going to do some more things. As you know, I do niche, I do designer, and I do clones. So this is the clone, and we will get started. If you do like this type of content, whether you like niche, designer, or clones, I have a little bit for everyone on the channel. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll get into it. So again, I appreciate it. First, I want to start with some honorable mentions. And the first honorable mention to me is an inspiration, definitely, and this is Camera by Lattafa. So this one is not a direct clone. A lot of people may say this is a clone of Angel Share. It is in the neighborhood of Angel Share, but it is not a clone. It is not an exact match to the DNA. I don't even believe it's in the 85% range. This is probably 70, 75%, but it is getting a cult following of its own, and it is starting to get clones of itself. So Connoisseurs, which was supposed to start out being a clone, has now had clones of itself. I will be doing an updated video on Angel Share where I get more into depth about what actual clone fragrances are really cloning Connoisseurs and not Angel Share. However, this is a great one. I recommend it. This is like my third bottle. During the Angel Share clone videos, I gave away two of these. Now, the next one that I want to put in there is Camera Kahwa. Now, this one to me, if you don't own Camera, this is the one to get if you want to have that kind of scent profile and DNA. Not just because of the darker juice color, which I do love, but because it's a little deeper, it's a little richer, it's less on that like French vanilla sweetness. It is more balanced. So this is a flanker that they came out with that I think if you do not already have Camera, this is the one to get. If you already have Camera, this is really kind of redundant. So that's one. The next one is one that I have talked about. This is also honorable mention, and this is Al Haramain Amber Oud Ruby Edition. Now this is a clone, definitely a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540 extrait version. So this one is a very good clone. It is, I think this one is about $50 for 100 mil. The Cameras are about $30 for 100 mil, and they'll be up on the screen. But this one, I like this DNA of Baccarat Rouge 540 better than the EDP. I think the EDP has too much cotton candy sweetness and sugar, and this one basically mellows that out with a bit of almond that mixes well with the saffron, and it has a caramel, but it gives us toffee-like sweetness as opposed to that sugary cotton candy sweetness. I think this is a really good one. It performs really well. It lasts 10 hours on skin. I've talked about it before, but I wanted to put it as an honorable mention. So getting into, we're gonna go from 10 to 1, not necessarily in any exact order. However, some of the ones at the top are gonna be ones that I highly recommend, but my number 10 is gonna be one I highly recommend. So we'll get right into it. For number 10, we are gonna go with Game of Spades Wildcard. And this is by Joe Milano. And Game of Spades Wildcard, this one is a inspiration clone of Lafayette Street. Now, this one takes that Lafayette Street Bond number 9 and it gives that scent DNA of that crisp linen vibe with a woody, musky, and sweet dry down. This does an excellent job. It actually has a pressurized atomizer, and this one performs even better than the OG. Now, the OG is no slouch, and I do like Lafayette Street Bond number 9. I did a video on the comparison of them. I have the original. However, I can say that as far as this is concerned, this, in my opinion, is almost just as good as the original. It's 95% in the neighborhood of the original, and it is a beast mode performer. And the bottle is really nice. The presentation is really nice. The atomizer is really nice. The notes that Joe Milano puts up actually mirror the notes of Baccarat Rouge 540 Straight, but it smells nothing like Baccarat Rouge 540 Straight. If you really want to get the notes of this, go to Lafayette Street. This is an exact 1-to-1. Like I said, 95% of Lafayette Street. It is really good. Like I said, I did a separate video on this, and this is one that I would say that if I had this first, I probably would not be running in line to get the OG, even though I like the OG. The next one we have is Absolute Oud Magnificent 7, and this is by Fragrance World. Now this one is $24 for 100 ml, and this is a clone of YSL M7 Oud Absolute. Now, to me, a lot of people say that YSL M7 Oud Absolute is a better version of Oud Wood. To me, it's in the same neighborhood. It has that underlying woody oud that is really pleasant, that is mixed with spices and comes off with a high level of musk. That to me is really sexy and a really nice fragrance. This one does the same thing as YSL M7 Oud Absolute. I think it's a really good clone of it or inspiration of it. It's around the 85% range. And to me, when you get this scent DNA, I would say you take Oud Wood and you mix it with Dior Homme Intense. Even though the notes on this do not say there's iris in it, you do get a powdery vibe. And I'm not exactly sure where that comes from, but there's a powdery vibe that really gives some elegance to the oud. And I think this is a really great fragrance. So on the notes, you're gonna get mandarin orange, patchouli, oud, of course, myrrh, and French labdanum. This one is by Fragrance World. Again, a magnificent price for $24. It definitely smells higher quality than the price, and this one is a great one. Next one we will go with, and this will be by Fragrance World again, and this is Suits by Fragrance World. Now, I have a decan of Tuxedo. I'm planning on getting the original. I haven't gotten the original, a full bottle yet. This one is another one that I think puts you in about the 90% range. It's a good version of Tuxedo. Now, is it the quality of Tuxedo? No. Is it as well blended as Tuxedo? No. But if you want to get in that DNA scent range for a lot less money, I mean, this is $29 for 100 mil, where Tuxedo is going to get you in around the $230, $240 on discounters for 100 mil. And this will get you there. Now, like I said, I am going to get the original OG, but right now, this is what I have, and this has been working well for me, along with a 10 mil decant that I had of it. But like I said, probably by this fall, by the end of fall, by this winter, I will have the OG. So it's really a patchouli fragrance. It's patchouli heavy. It goes with violet leaf, coriander, bergamot, rose, black pepper, lily of the valley, patchouli, of course, bourbon, vanilla, and ambergris. It's a very nice stately fragrance. It is one that could be a signature scent worthy for like the fall. You can wear it in the spring and get away with it. Maybe not so much in the summer as much, but maybe summer nights you could wear it and it would be good as well. However, I got Suits because I was not able to get Tuxedo, the Tux at the time. And Suits is the one that I got. To me, I did end up getting a sample of the Tux, and they're really close to each other. So I would say either one, whichever one is available, both of them are fine. Now we go into number 7, and this is Supremacy in Oud by Afnan. So this is, of course, a clone of Oud for Greatness. This was $45 for 100 mil that I got at Fragrance Buy. I will put all of the links in the description. I also do have Lattafa's Oud for Glory. But this one, I will say, smells like Oud for Greatness more. However, it's a lot more synthetic. It's a lot lesser quality. And I really don't enjoy this one as much as I enjoy Supremacy in Oud. Supremacy in Oud is a much better blend. It adds some candied sweetness to the Oud for Greatness DNA, but it gets you close enough in there, maybe around the 75 to 80%. It gets you in the DNA. It just has a little extra candy sweetness. But if you're looking for an Oud for Greatness that is a good quality, I would say go with Afnan Supremacy in Oud over the Lattafa version. I just don't enjoy the Lattafa version at all, but I did want to show you that I have them both. The next one we'll go with is the Envy of FOMO, and this is the number 6. And this one is $30 at Fragrance Buy. This is by FOMO, their brand, I believe. I believe it's the Fragrance Buy brand. And this one I have a video on this one as well. That is a separate video that goes through it. It is a inspiration or clone of Gucci Envy. In full transparency, I do not have a full bottle of Gucci Envy anymore. So I know there's a lot of people on the original video that talked about that. In my mind, I believe it is about 85%. You can take that with a grain of salt, but let's talk about the fragrance on its own. Now, there have been people in the comments that do have full bottles that have attested to the quality of this one and have attested to the fact that it does smell around that 85% range. I had that in the comments. But however, on its own, this is a warm, spicy, aromatic fragrance that is definitely in the neighborhood of Gucci Envy. It has clove, pepper, citruses, woods, florals, sweet amber, musky base. It is a great fragrance. It's a parfum. For me, it lasted 8 hours on skin. It wasn't, super beast mode, but it does project well. And it gives you that Gucci Envy scent profile DNA. I think it's great. It's in my must-have for fall. I really liked it. I'm really have worn it for the scent of the day, and I will continue to wear it in the fall when I go into fall clones in my scent of the day. Next one we'll talk about is Montage Intense, and this is by Grandeur Elite. Really like the Grandeur Elite brand. They did a really good job. Now, there are a lot of ones that we can say as far as this is a clone of Angel Share, of course, Angel Share. There are a lot of ones that you can say. Cocktail Intense, I think, is really good. Kismet Angel, I think, is really good. And as we went through the progression, those were the top ones that were in my videos for clones or inspiration of Angel Share, barring the price. Now, if you don't care about the price and you want to pay $110 for a 100 mil, which is basically, I guess Angel Share is going for somewhere around $265 to $290 for a 50 mil. You put it up to 100 mil, that gets you in the $580 range. So if you really want one that you're not worried about the money, this is in a straight. And this is Brooklyn Fragrance Lover by Alexandria. But you can get in the same neighborhood, not exactly the same quality, but very close, not the same projection and longevity. This isn't a straight to parfum that lasts a really long time. But if you want to get the Angel Share DNA and you're not worried about necessarily the cost as opposed to other fragrances that are inspirations or clones in that same DNA profile, Brooklyn Fragrance Lover is the one to get. However, if you want one that gets you close, and this is about the $25 to $30 range, I think this is $30, but you can get some for even a little less. Montage Intense is a really good one. Again, Cocktail Intense is a good one as well. Kismet Angel is not bad either. Next we have La Yucawam by Versace. Now, this one is a clone of Tuscan Leather. And to me, dare I say, this is as good or better, in my opinion, than Tuscan Leather. It is close to a 1-to-1 clone, but I really like the distinction and the spiciness that they put on the leather. The raspberry is blended really well in here. And I had a decan of Tuscan Leather. I never bought the original based off of having this. I have another one that I just got recently that's close to this. It's a lot less intense as far as the leather, and it's called Charm It by Moudon. I like that one as well, but this one has a much more distinctive leather vibe to it, and this one is really nice. It is $49 for 75 mil, so it's not the cheapest one, but it's well blended, it's well crafted. You're gonna get the raspberry, the saffron, and thyme. You're gonna see that spiciness is really nice in here. They add as a note Artemisia from the original Tuscan Leather, but you get Lebanon, jasmine, and then of course in the base you get the leather, suede, and the woody notes and the amber. Exceptional fragrance. La Yucawam hasn't been talked about a whole lot lately, but if you like that Tuscan Leather vibe or scent DNA, this is a really good one to get. Next one is Amber Oud Exclusive Blue. And this is a Leighton inspirational clone. Now, I want to tell everybody, because a lot of times I get in the comments that I meant to say Al Haramain Amber Oud Blue Edition. And this is a different fragrance. This one is basically a blend of Bleu de Chanel and Dylan Blue. So don't get it mixed up. This is by Al Haramain. This one is not. This one is, even though the bottles look the same, it is not Al Haramain. This is Amber Oud Exclusive Blue. This is Amber Oud by Al Haramain Blue Edition. And this is a blue fragrance. This one is a Layton clone. And in my opinion, this is the best Layton clone out there. It is not the cheapest. It is a little over $1 per milliliter. It's $64 on Fragrance Buy. I believe that's where I got it from, for 60 mil. However, there are some other ones that are cheaper. Another good one is Dusk. And this one is pretty good as well. And Dusk, this one is a better quality than we would say Al Haramain Detour Noir. This one is not bad either. The bottle is hideous. So again, it's got a hideous bottle, not bad quality. It's a little more synthetic. It's the most synthetic out of them, but it does perform really well, and it does work well in cloning or matching the Layton DNA. I have not bought a bottle of Layton since I've had these clones. All of them have done really well as far as giving me that Layton scent profile DNA. And so I did not re-up on a bottle of Layton because I have so many Layton clones that really do a good job. My favorite out of the Layton line, I guess if you want to call it Layton line, is Layton Exclusive. So I do have two bottles. I have a bottle and a backup bottle of Layton Exclusive. But as far as for the Layton DNA and scent profile, when I want to have that type of scent profile and DNA, I have plenty of clones that I think do a good job. And what I can say just in general is anyone that is a high-end designer or a fairly linear type scent, clones can do a really good job in reproducing that. This does a really good job of reproducing the Layton scent. And this is one that I don't know if I'll ever get another full bottle of Layton. I may, just because I'm a collector and a connoisseur of fragrances, and to be able to show it on video. But as far as needing it to complete my collection, I really don't. The next one we're gonna get into is by Dumont, but it's the Barouge series, and it is Perlador. So Perlador by the House of Dumont is a really nice fragrance. And this one is on the sort of expensive side, but for what it is inspiration or clone of, you really can't beat the price. This is $53, and I believe this is a 75 mil. And this is, of course, it is a inspiration of Carlisle. I believe it's in the 80 to 85% range, but it definitely gets you in the neighborhood, definitely gets you in that scent DNA. The notes that are listed do not line up in any kind of way, but if you really want to know how this smells, I would say look at the notes of Carlisle. You're gonna get that nutmeg, that green apple type opening. You get the sage and basil, incense and violet, and leather, gray musk, and oud is what they have for the Dumont Barrage Perlador. It is a really good fragrance, blended really well. Nice bottle, nice presentation. I think they really did well on this house. This is kind of an upscale part of their house, I believe. Dumont has a lot of nice fragrances that are coming out and a lot of things that they are releasing as of late. If you want that Carlisle DNA for a lot less money, you cannot go wrong with this. Of course, it also then puts you in that Mancera red tobacco type neighborhood, all of them in that same kind of neighborhood. This one is a good one. It is actually the red tobacco that I have. This one is more refined than it. It's less screechy, less loud. This feels and smells like a better quality than red tobacco. I haven't really delved into red tobacco intense yet, but this one is a really great one. If you want that Carlisle feel, very good. last but definitely not least, this is a newer one that I got towards the end of the winter season, and this is Charuto Tobacco Vanille. And this one is ultimately by Paris Corner, but it says Pandora Scents, but I guess it's a sister house of Paris Corner, but Paris Corner is the ultimate owner of this brand. So I think it's Pandora Scents, but Paris Corner is where it's from. This, of course, Tobacco Vanille, the name says it all. This is a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille inspiration. I think it's about 80 to 85%. It definitely gets you in the neighborhood. It, to me, is a little spicier than Tobacco Vanille. It comes off with a little more, they just say spices. It gives me kind of that cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice type touch to it. It also gives me a Coca-Cola, like a vanilla Coke type vibe to it. It's quite effervescent and really nice. The notes that are listed here are tobacco leaf, spices. In the mid, it's tonka bean, tobacco flower, and vanilla. And then in the dry down, it's a dry fruit accord and woods. This is an exceptional fragrance. It's $26 for 100 ml on fragrancebuy.ca. This is well above the price value. The quality of this is exceptional in my standpoint. It is definitely a must-have, and this is my last out of the 10 fragrances, along with 2 honorable mentions that I have for you. So there you have it. I know there is a lot of kind of controversy with clones. I believe there are definitely times that clones are a part of my collection, a part of my fragrance wardrobe, as some people may call it. And these are some of the better ones that I have in my collection. So hope you like this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will be continuing to do videos, and I do a mix of niche, a mix of designer, and a mix of clones and Middle Eastern type fragrances. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. God bless.
Can I sniff it? Yes, you can. 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 Can I sniff it?